Hey guys, it's postboxpat. Welcome back to your brand new news update. In today's video, we've got a lot of different topics to go over and so much going on in the world of Fortnite. We've actually got some really exciting stuff, so make sure you're not going anywhere and tapping that subscribe if you are new. Anyway, starting off, item shop time. Rebirth Harley Quinn has made her appearance. That's right guys, Rebirth Harley Quinn is now in the shop with her bat bling as well, which are two separate items, which is kind of interesting. I really didn't expect this, but yeah, it's kind of cool. The bat bling actually is reactive and it pops up with an elimination with obviously the timer as well with the countdown to the storm. So it's kind of a useful glider overall because it kind of tells you when the storm's closing in. I actually really like this. I think it's probably one of the better gliders because you don't always look at the right side, or gliders, did I say? Batbling, should I say, sorry? Because you don't always look to the right, and this generally is just kind of interesting, you know? You've got the timer to the storm on the Batbling. It's kind of a bit OP. It's the sort of thing that might not work in competitive, but overall, it's pretty cool, and one that you can actually get your hands on as well. Now, these are in the comics with the codes, if anyone is wondering, but the comics can be quite hard to get your hands on, depending on where you're based in the world. I know in the UK, I've had extreme difficulty getting my hands on them. I know in the US, it's a little bit easier, but if you're not available to get the comics, you can obviously get these from the shop, and it's pretty cool. That Batbling is definitely something you guys should cop. And don't forget, code postboxpat if you are grabbing anything. Anyway, let's move on to our next topic because that's a really interesting one. And this is actually all about NPCs. So there's been a lot going on in the community today about NPCs, and there's a lot of leaks and different kind of insides to what's coming in the future. And this is some really exciting stuff for you guys. Nothing's too mega here. There's no like mythics or anything. It's just general NPCs being placed around the map. So first off, we've got a summer Brutus, which is going to be added in this season. How exciting is this? The description for him is nothing, not even an alien invasion will keep him from enjoying his vacation. And that is Brutus returning in a summer style. So I suspect we may get another Brutus in the shop. Fortnite know that season 2 was their most popular season. So I do think they're going to do some more reskins from that season. We've already seen Realzos have his reskin. And now we're probably going to see Brutus have his kind of like summer remix, which is going to be pretty cool. I think a lot of people are going to like this, so keep your eyes peeled for it guys if you are kind of looking out for it. And he's going to be an NPC as well. Now there's no confirmation exactly where he's going to be located just yet, but it'll probably be on the beach somewhere, or maybe even outside the grotto, or maybe even inside the grotto if they decide to bring it back. I doubt it, but who knows. Really exciting stuff there for the Brutus fans out there. I know I would love another Brutus NPC. It's been a while since we've seen him on the island. Next one we've got also is regarding some also NPC spawns. So what have we got here? Summer Henchman Brutus, obviously Believers Beach estimated spawn location. Again, these aren't confirmations 100% guys. These leakers, they don't know everything. It's just them predicting. Just to let you guys know, these could all change. Summer Alien will spawn at Steamy Stacks. Again, it could change. Same with Chimera, which could actually spawn at the brand new Coral Castle location, which we talked about in yesterday's video about Coral Castle getting changed. So he will most likely spawn there. So Coral technically is going, but it's not like fully going. It's just going to get like damaged and stuff. That's what we predict. We can't guarantee that's going to happen, but I do think there's going to be an event very soon that links into this, because for those wondering, the next update of Fortnite has now hit its staging side, which means it's just around the corner. With it being a week from now, it's now in the staging service, so it's being tested, and that is the version 17.1, which will be live sometime next week, probably a week today. We suspect that to go live with a lot of content changes in there, so I'm super hyped for that. Even a mini live event possibly with the introduction of the new Coral Castle and stuff like that, so kind of cool. Also, the Chimera NPC will actually have this description: he may or may not come in peace. And he's going to have an epic tactical shotgun, which you'll probably be able to take off him by eliminating him. You can see here his first event interaction is obviously there. You can see that's his first line that he says. The amount of gold players who have more than 2,000 gold, your many bars mean nothing to me. This is what he says basically. And last played 7 days. Things are different than they were before. It's time for you to pick a side. So I like the way they've kind of got different lines depending on how long you've played it for. You've got his default line, his first ever interaction, and obviously the two more important ones, the gold and the last 7 days. So all NPCs have these different interactions, which is kind of neat. So most of the NPC interactions on the map don't really give us that much insight to the storyline. They mainly just give us little Easter eggs, for example, like Jules being Midas's daughter. I don't suspect that Fortnite would make a whole storyline just through NPC blogs. They do hints and kind of like little lead ups to things, but it's never anything like, whoa, this is game changing. I can't think of any in the past that have been like that. Even Bunker Jonesy's one, when we first spoke to him for the first ever time, he was like kind of questioning what's going on, but didn't really give us much like information. He just kind of just questioned it and made us more excited. And I think that's the way NPCs work for interactive content which relates to the storyline, because obviously the storyline's a big thing in Fortnite. It never really was, and I do think over the years myself and other creators have managed to make the storyline actually come to life, because generally I think Fortnite probably wouldn't have gone with a storyline. I think because they noticed their community are into it, they generated one, and you start to see that kind of push through now, this chapter especially. Last chapter, it wasn't really that much like making that much sense until even throughout chapter 2 season 1, it wasn't making much sense even. It still doesn't, that era. Someone said, if I ever met Donald Mustard again, I would ask him, can you please explain to me what was the transition between season X and chapter 2 season 2's storyline? That's the question I would ask him if I could, and see if he could explain what his kind of like thought process was with it. I'd really like to know. I really would. I think that's a great question to ask him, and if there's ever a Q&A or something, or I ever meet him for some random reason again, I would ask him that question, because back in the day when I met him, I asked him what season are you working on at the time. Bear in mind, I asked him this in season 9, I think it was, before the event versus the Robot versus Monster, and he said he'd already worked all the way up to season 13, 14, so Epic were already working on that Marvel collab, which is crazy at that time. And this was E3 2019, so that was like 2 years ago, around this time. It would have been around this time. Honestly, I met Donald Mustard 2 years ago, so that's crazy. Other topics we talked about in this situation was just generally like creative and like the balance between casuals and pros, which still hasn't been really fixed. And we just generally suggested my idea about making, like I said, can I suggest an LTM? And he was like, yeah, sure. I just said, like, how about we have like a mode where, you know, people can't build as easily because the items flash yellow. You know, that flashing thing they do when you stood in between them. I said that with like stairs and pyramids. At the time, I didn't explain it very well because there was like 15 other people trying to ask him questions at the same time. So it was pretty crazy. There was a lot of people in the area, and obviously it was kind of like, I tried my best to explain it as quickly as possible. I don't think anyone understood it, but yeah, it was just interesting to see like his like take on like what I said, like stuff about save the world, creative, battle royale, what could be next, and he just kind of smiled and nodded. A lot of the questions he did just smile and nod at, just because he didn't want to give it away. Do you know what I mean? But when you're in a situation like that where you've met someone that kind of like directs kind of what I produce on YouTube, but you don't actually have contact with them directly, technically, if you know what I mean, it was just a weird dynamic. Like, just it was just such a surreal experience, as well as like everyone else there as well. Like, it wasn't just me and Donald. There was like another group of people who I believe were creative like builders, because I recognized their faces from like a trailer they released for like the World Cup. This was like 2 years ago now, and I always discussed about this on the channel. A lot of people believe me, some people don't. I did actually take a selfie with Donald Mustard, which was really cool, just before I left, as well as just, you know, generally I wouldn't put that on the channel because I haven't got like my setup for a face cam or anything like that, and I'm not ready to do that on the channel just yet until we hit milestones. But anyway, let's move on from that topic. I love to always discuss that, and I'm sure a lot of people enjoyed that because it's just generally like such a surreal experience, like I said. So anyway, moving on to our next little topic for you guys. We actually have Fortnite themselves confirming that challenges have now actually been readjusted for different dates. So the epic challenges did drop today for some reason on a Tuesday, but the challenges will continue to drop on Thursdays following from week 3, so that's really nice. And then also Epic also confirmed that legendary quests will now actually be released one day earlier on the Wednesdays. So the way it's going to work is Tuesdays we're going to get all of the kind of like cores that we're getting for the aliens, and then obviously on the Wednesday the legendary quests, and then obviously the Thursday the epic quests. So kind of like a nice little cycle for quests overall inside of Fortnite for anyone that loves doing their quests on different days and stuff. You got a really good opportunity there to kind of grab your different stuff, which I'm kind of excited for everyone in the community on that side. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled guys, as always, for that sort of stuff. And moving back over to some stuff coming in from Hypex, he's actually got some interesting topics here with different NPCs, possibly for the next legendary quests coming out tomorrow, or technically today because it's Wednesday as I'm recording this video. In this week's upcoming legendary quest, there's a third quest that asks us to converse with Rick, obviously Rook, Marigold, Maven, all special forces and stuff like that, and see who is still loyal to the IO. The loyal ones get rewarded in the quest after that. Won't spoil it, but here's are some of the conversations if you want to guess. So yeah, I don't really want to read through all of these. I don't like to spoil things, but yes, feel free to read these if you want to. It's pretty cool. It's kind of like you've got to go over to them. Like, for example, the Marigold one was like player imagined order. I wouldn't say I supported the IO and then player continue, but I always make sure they support me. So yeah, just interesting stuff like that with Marigold and other ones as well. So kind of cool, like, to see all this stuff going on with the IO. It's definitely more storyline orientated, actually. I didn't expect them to go that far into it. For example, the Marigold one, she doesn't like to say she supports the IO, but she likes it when they support her. So what's going on there? You know what I mean? Something interesting. Government's definitely stepping in. The whole government scheme in Fortnite's died out on it, you know, because we've got IO now. Technically, they're like the government of the island, aren't they? You know, we used to refer to the yellow logo, like, yeah, we used to refer to the yellow logo in Chapter 1 as the government, and I generally do think that's the same as IO. It's just like they didn't really want to put their logo out there, or just Epic haven't designed a logo yet, so they were just using that yellow thing. But yeah, you know what I mean? I do think they were the IO at the time, possibly, or maybe they were just a government on the island. Don't know, it's a bit confusing, the storyline. It is starting to make more sense now. Like, you can kind of like piece it together from like season 9 onwards, and it makes sense, but there are some gaps in it, like Ghost v Shadow. That was just so confusing. Also kind of like the duplicate versions of skins, as well as the stuff all before kind of like season 9, season 8 was a bit complicated with all the different stuff with the government. Even the government in season 8 was a bit complicated and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, just a crazy world, guys, of just random stuff. Also, contest wise on Fortnite's site, I know a lot of you guys do like to know stuff about this. Fortnite have actually announced, if you are an artist, you can now design skins for Fortnite. Now, you do not even have to be a super drawer. So it's Bring Your Art to Fortnite Concept Royale. This is a contest where the top 2 concepts will be turned into an outfit inside of Fortnite, and you'll receive a total of $2.5k in cash. So yeah, that's kind of cool. If you win, you got to be 13 or over to enter in, and yeah, that's just like an overview of that. It's going to be really cool, and I'm guessing these are going to be different styles. So get those pencils, paints, and stencils ready, and creative juices flowing. Concept Royale is on. So yeah, pretty cool. This is kind of nice. Send us your more festive, frosty, and fun designs to bundle up in the holiday season, which is kind of cool. So it looks like they're looking for the festival designs, which is mad. Their official debut this December. So yeah, any Christmassy design skins that you guys can come up with, feel free to put them into this competition. Generally, you don't need to be able to use some sort of crazy 3D software to design these, but the scoring system is as follows: unique use of theme 1 to 5 points, fun factor 1 to 5 points, and overall visuals. I hope the overall visuals does not mean that you need to be able to create backgrounds and crazy scenes in some 3D software. That's the only one I worry about. I feel like the top 2 are possible to achieve, with the overall visuals one, I don't know if that's just going to be like an overall visual of the skin, or if it's going to be like what else reacts, or what else have you got with it. So if you come up with a crazy idea on a piece of paper and you want to draw it out and it looks good, and you've got some sort of like reactive back bling or a new concept which has never been done in Fortnite, I think you've got a chance. But if you don't do that, then maybe you don't. But it's debatable, and I do think generally a lot of the big skin creators out there, like the big like content creators that do like skin stuff, or thumbnail should I say, a few of the artists which we see who are like in the main light are actually thumbnail designers for clickbaiters, which is crazy if you think about it. Not all of them, some of them aren't, some of them are perfectly fine, but there's a few of them that do like constant clickbait thumbnails. They're the ones that will probably win this, because they've got so much talent at creating these skins. But I'd love someone to win this who just draws a simple skin on a piece of paper. It just looks amazing, it's perfect, has some crazy reactive style. I think that's the most important part. If you do something reactive or something unique, you will have a good chance of winning, and if you can portray that quite well in a drawing, you will have a good chance. Generally, that's what they'll be looking for, I think, like the fun style rather than like a really serious skin. So see what you can come up with, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and once again, this is postboxpat signing out.